How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today, we're going to be going over a couple of clips of myself training my sister's cat to sit. Now, I've only worked with him 3 times. 2 of them were caught on camera. And so we're just going to explain the whole process. We're going to go through, and I'm going to explain things that I could have done better from watching the videos back and kind of explaining what might be going through his little head. So, without further ado, this is Miqo. And he is, I think it's polydactyl. He has like 2 extra thumbs on each on each foot, so he's a little cute little mutant. I'm using a piece of dehydrated lamb liver. So I'm just calling him over. This is earlier in the day, so he's a little hungry.
Man.
And this is only the 2nd time that I've worked with him. So right now I'm just luring him. I move my hand a little bit more to get his attention. He's allowed to sniff.
Good man.
First time I've introduced the verbal cue. So I don't expect to use the verbal cue a whole lot.
Good boy. Good job.
I was just testing him out there. And then I give him a jackpot reward because he's been giving me lots of good behavior. So he's very good about, him as an individual, he's very good about giving eye contact. I'm backing away. My upper half is bent over, as you will see in this next clip. So in this next clip, you're going to see that this is exactly how I looked just on the other side of this counter here. This is how I was bending down. Don't mind the crazy hair. Just cut my hair. Just cut the short part. But here, this is later. This is, a few days later, and this is later in the day. So this is nighttime, and you might notice a big difference in his behavior because he's more full. He's not as excited.
Good man.
And you'll see I'm having a bit more trouble getting him to kind of connect with me. Whereas before it was pretty easy to get him to come over. Now he's showing a bit more disinterest. I'm giving him a bigger piece now. I'm trying to lure him, trying different things. He drops it out of his little mouth. Aw, the little hand. So I was just trying to get him to sit. He did give up and give me a little paw, which his mom has taught him to give little paws. So I just want a reward for any interaction that he's giving me. I'm trying to break it down so he just wants to interact with me. Yes, I could, be confusing him for sure, but I think, he's smart enough that if I keep an eye on what I continue to teach him, then he won't be confused that me luring him from a down to a sit is I'm not necessarily looking for the paw behavior. But here you're going to see he's going to show a little bit of agitation. I'm trying to call him like I do when I'm calling a dog. So he's confused. He looks back at mom and he gives a little tail swish right there. Sorry, I cut it off a little bit early, but that's a little sign of frustration and agitation from what I see of it from cat behavior. Looks at mom, little tail swish. So I drop it on the ground. I pick it up before he gets to it, and I can reinforce the sit. So he's teaching me, I'm trying a whole bunch of different behaviors to get the behavior I want from him, and he's showing me that. So we're going to play it back from the beginning so you can see it all the way through without me talking, and then I can go back and explain things that he has taught me to do differently. And keep in mind, I didn't have to correct him. I didn't even think. I mean, like, it of course it could have occurred. It didn't occur to me. But I never planned to correct him for not listening.
Good man. Good boy. See? Good man. Good boy. See? Good job. Good man. Good man. Good man. That's okay. Yeah. Oh, good man. Good man.
Okay, so looking at this clip here, the first one worked out pretty well. You know, I was lucky. It was early in the day, so he was hungry. He's not used to getting these dehydrated lamb liver treats. And I just give him, you know, little tiny pieces, and I try not to fill him up because he has a bit of a sensitive tummy, so he doesn't get trained with this a lot. So in the first clip, it's during the day. Again, he's more hungry. We're in a different environment. Still could be kind of a trapping area, but here it is at night. We have the washer going, which I just now snapped to it, that we're in, you know, it's about the same amount of distance in this little pathway here as it is on the other side, but there's still a lot more enclosed. There's a person on one end, and there's a person behind him. Now, Mom being behind him is a sign of comfort. I don't have a very strong bond with Miqo yet because we just moved in. I mean, I've known him since he was a little baby. I went to go pick him up with my sister, but still, he, you know, we don't have a very strong bond, and that's okay. So I have to work that up. I keep that in mind. My body language could be intimidating. This could be a trapping area for him. It's, you know, darker, so shadows and light can affect things differently. I'm asking him to move, so there's pressure here, pressure behind him, pressure in front of him. Even though I'm moving away, there's still noise here that I don't even think about. It didn't even occur to me. We're training in a new environment where I'm asking him to come towards this noise, and I'm asking for more behavior in this new setting than it is reinforcing for him. So I'm asking him to not only move forward and follow the lure, but I'm asking for a sit. So he's telling me that's a lot of, you're asking a lot for little reinforcement, too little reward for me. And that's perfectly fine. I'm asking too much of him in this environment, and it could be later in the day where he's full. He always has food available. He has crunchies, he has wet food. But now is later in the day when he probably has had a couple of snacks. So I was trying to work too fast, showing him the empty lure to see if he would follow, because he did earlier in the first clip. When he's over here, he's coming. This first one is because he has I have a treat in my hand. But later on, I just make a clicky noise and, kind of have my hand down for him to follow. I don't have the treat ready yet. I know you can't see it with my hands. But there we go.
Good man.
So here, empty hand. He says, tiny little piece of treat. He gave me a sit, so I honestly should have, looking back now, I should have rewarded for that, because he moved forward and he sat. Perfect. But, it's not the end of the world. We learn we don't need to correct anyone, especially not the animal. It is the human who is doing this, and I don't know who would ever try to correct a cat. So now, what I would do in this instance is, because he showed me that he just spit it out. It fell out of his mouth. He's showing me that he finds it more reinforcing or a stronger draw if I put the food on the ground instead of from my hand, which, feeding from a hand can be intimidating as well. So that's also pressure. Oh, the little hands. So I'm trying to create a draw. He's a little confused. Could be, again, there's humming from this, a lot of loud noise. There's also humming from the refrigerator. There's shadows, changes of light. There's his little scratcher. It doesn't seem as open to him maybe as the other side where there was like sunlight during the day. So he looks to Mom for maybe reassurance. That tail swish, could have been, like, Mom, she's annoying me, or just out of frustration. Like, he's looking to Mom like, what do I do? So to me, that little tail swish, which I didn't see, if I had seen it, I would say, okay, he seems like he's getting a little frustrated. Cats don't wag their tail usually because they're happy. Usually they wag it because they're irritated. And that wasn't just a smooth wag. That was like a tail flick, like a tail swish you would see from a horse. Little wiggle there, pretty normal. That's like, hey, I'm getting irritated. So I put it on the ground. He's more interested in that. So I could have continued to, what I will do in the future is I will continue to reinforce him just coming to the treat on the ground. Because he's coming to me, he's interacting with me. I can pair it with, I make a kissy noise and then put a treat on the ground. And that way I can fade out the treat to where move the treat to my hand. And then he just comes to the kissy noise. So I'm kind of teaching him the recall through the kissy noise. That would be my recall. So I'm teaching him the recall because if you think about it, I just now thought about this. I'm not only teaching him to come to me, I'm teaching him to come and sit. So if I think about it like with a dog, I wouldn't teach them, I would just teach them sit, and then I would teach them to come separately, and then I would teach them to come and sit. Where when they come to me, they automatically sit. So there's a lot of behaviors I'm actually pairing here that this little guy has never been trained for. I think he's 5 now. I think he's like about 5 years old. So he's still a young little guy. And he's never been, his mom taught him some cute little tricks like high five and things. But, he's never been taught obedience. Like, nobody teaches that to a cat. So just watching back, all the mistakes that, I can fix and change, and mistakes don't have to be seen as a bad thing. I know I talk a lot about, other people like making mistakes, but I try to talk about the people that should know better, that choose to let the animal, or they choose to set the animal up for failure, and then they can correct. They choose to set the animal up for failure so they can correct. I'm trying to set him up for as much success as possible, and he is teaching me, if you're willing to learn, your animal, whatever animal you're working with, will teach you everything you need to know about how to work with them. You don't ever have to have a trainer. Trainers make it easier to see little body language and little subtle things, but just record yourself. See what you could do differently. This really helped me, and I'm going to continue to, keep you guys along the journey of him sitting. First, I'm going to be working on just him coming to me from any distance, just coming to the kissy noise, and then I will work on, following me to the sit. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for the support, everyone. I hope you got something from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Our little star, Miqo, will definitely be another, I'm sure, another cute face on this channel that people will love him for. His cute little thumbs and everything. So thanks again for tuning in. Hope you all are doing well. Go say hi to your little critters. Say howdy do for me. Give them some kind of lovin'. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.